Well, my name is Tia. I'm a grateful believer in Jesus Christ, and by Him, I have been delivered from a drug and alcohol addiction, nicotine and caffeine addiction, and the one that was the most painful was self-harm. I gave my testimony a little over a year ago, and I shared my life experiences, moments that really broke me. And also I shared about my journey into recovery and what I did after during my recovery. But today, I want to press on the importance of celebrate recovery in my life. My life is where it is today because of Christ working me through this program and through the help of others. Okay. Does anyone here struggle with anger, anxiety, depression, resentments, the need to control situations, worry, perhaps unforgiveness? These are just a few of mine, and there are so many more on that list of hurts, hang-ups, and habits. I don't know if you've seen over in the other room, at one time we had a whole bunch of little labels with different, things to struggle with. Yeah, I'm sure many of you today can think of something right now that may be a barrier for you. Celebrate Recovery has been a place for healing, and not only that, but fellowship and finding others to share with. People that can hold me accountable. People that can pray for me and I for them. People I can trust to share the matters of my heart with. To remind me that I am not the only one, and we do share a lot of the same struggles. I don't know how many people here have been through a step study, but if you do know, you know the work and commitment it takes. And sometimes, if you're like me, you don't know what you're signing yourself up for at first. And I have to admit, when I went through the journey begins, I wasn't wholly committed. I didn't want to dig too deep. It was all like a surface level kind of searching, like move your foot around a little bit, check that out. No, we're not going to uncover that right now. Well, I'd kick my dirt around a little bit. And when we were finished, I was relieved and I was thankful because I did find some healing through that process. I shared things I never thought could leave past this and out that. And, but it wasn't enough for me. Then a couple months later, because there's another set of books you have to go to, so we decided that journey continues. At first, I was hesitant, not knowing what else I was going to discover, but I signed up. And I didn't feel like I had dug deep enough. But this time, I dug a little deeper, but I wasn't fully focused. And I was digging more like a dog looking for his lost bone. You know what that looks like, right? Shoving this stuff everywhere. So I had a little bit of my mess over here, a little of my mess over here, maybe a little bit over here. So, I'm searching. I'm looking in this area. I'm looking, but I'm not quite sure what I was looking for. So I'm digging some more. But I didn't know what to find or what I was looking for if I had found it. And still, it wasn't enough. I know I probably it had to do with a couple more of the character defects, like procrastination. We had a whole week to do our homework, sometimes longer, depending on which, lesson we were working on. And, when did I decide to do mine? Just an hour before we were supposed to meet. I didn't realize it then, but how could I expect to get anything from that? Sometimes we would have up to 10 questions, sometimes more. And that didn't allow me much time to process anything, let alone pray over it. Not only was I not giving Jesus the time to help me, I wasn't giving myself time to help me. And that's when I realized one step study wasn't enough. I may have some of the same struggles that I had from the past 2 years while working on the journey we completed, and sometimes, or I may have had new. Either way, I owe it to Jesus and myself to be more committed because the weight is still there. Healing is an ongoing process. Pain can resurface. I will never be completely healed here on earth because if I was, I wouldn't need a healer, and I need Jesus. In September, my best friend, her kids, and a couple of good friends of mine went to Praise Fest in Manhattan. I was expected to go to fellowship and worship, and I walked away with a little bit more than that. And they had a couple of new things. They had some sports. They had volleyball, and they had bouncy castles. It took a lot of restraint not to get in those. Anyways, Matt Maher, I don't want to screw that name up, was our final artist that night. But another artist named Leanna Crawford opened for him. She was sharing between songs, and I remember her saying something that I still can't get out of my head to this day. She was talking about a conversation she had with her pastor of hers, and he said to her something along the lines of, you're either coming out of a storm, you're in a storm, or you're heading into one. And her reaction, as well as mine, was kind of about the same at that moment. That's enlightening. All right. Then it occurred to me, 1, 2, 3. I got all 3 in a row. I didn't know whether to stick my hand up and yell bingo, but I'm sure that wasn't the right answer. Okay. So, currently, I am coming out of a storm that I didn't think I was going to make it out of. And the effects from that storm carried it into a new one that I'm in now. And I know if I'm not careful, I will be heading into another one unprepared. That's why I am choosing to be prepared by taking more time to learn about my healer, being more honest with him and myself, because he's the only one who can carry me through this storm and any after. We're getting ready to start a new step study groups as we are starting our new cycle and celebrate recovery. And I encourage all of you to give yourselves a chance to see what the program can reveal to you. Come find more fellowships. Maybe you have a friend or a family member that can benefit. You could come with them as support. But don't be surprised if you find out there's a place for you too. Right. But before I close, I would like to ask you all to join me in prayer. The one we use to close out our large group on Tuesday nights is the Serenity prayer. Many of you know it. Many of you know there's an extended version. Is it up there? All right. Would you please join me today? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking, as Jesus did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever the next. Thank you for letting me share.